Well, that is a fine question. Where are we?
Well, I'll use the term that a former wine owner used to say. We're on the bosom of the Augusta AVA.
Right.
So we're kind of on the northern edge of it, on the hills, the river hills that maybe they're the second hills or whatever in the AVA.
Okay. Northern edge of the AVA,
Yeah.
our district. And today we're talking about the Muench Grape because our next interview is about Friedrich Muench. He's going to show us the difference. I mean,
this is a Chamberson leaf, and this is a Muench leaf. There's nothing magical comparing it to Chamberson, but one of the unique things about telling species difference in grapes is their leaf structure and their leaf shape. So they're very different.
And it's a very bushy plant, as you can see.
Yeah. We never knew when we planted it, but it certainly does well in our climate. It's a little bit like Norton, and to me, in that Norton is kind of a hard grape to get started from the seedlings or the youngsters.
Really?
They take a little extra effort. They seem to be slow. Muench seems to do a little bit of that as well, but once it's established, it seems to perform very, very well and grow extremely well.
Why are you growing this ancient grape? It's not ancient really, but this unusual variety.
Well, first, probably the biggest reason is I'm a big fan of biological diversity and what it takes to have multiple species going. And when I got asked about this, there was a very limited supply of it in the area. So we were asked to would we be interested? So we proceeded in the whole process of getting cuttings and propagating the cuttings and then planting the vineyard. I want to say, I think 2010 or 2012, somewhere in there, we eventually planted the vineyard. But I like to keep the genetics going because you never know when the value of what that's going to happen. We're now dealing with certainly climate shifts and obviously don't know where that'll go, but you want all the tools in the toolbox you can have
to be a survivor.
Yeah,
or more than one. And who asked you to grow it?
It was kind of a combination between the owners of Montel and Augusta Winery and the vineyard manager and a number of people. I'm on the technical committee of the Wine and Grape Board of Missouri, and there was a lot of interest in keeping varieties and what other varieties we could propagate in the future. So it just seemed to fit, and here it is.
And did you inherit much of your dad's passion for restoration?
Yes.
And historic things?
A home and a number of other things. We've tried to maintain it's hard to replace that, and it provides the charm and the interest, I think, that makes an area grow and be something people desire.
It's a beauty.
4 rows of Muench here. There's a row of what's called Missouri Riesling, which is a Lambrusco, and then another row of Chamberson that matches what's the predominant plant here in the vineyard. There's roughly 375 vines, something like that, of Muench here. And we do some rejuvenation, and as Fred knows, no vines live forever and ever, and they all need care and taking care of. So there are red grape. They are predominantly used in port wines, where I would say the color is not quite as critical. So it's more about flavor and that. So we'll harvest these based on some different criteria than we might do some of the other grapes.
And is Muench at all related to Labrusca?
Not to my knowledge, but I am not a plant geneticist.
No, it's not vinifera. It's a cross between an ancient grape named Neosho, like the town in southwest Missouri, which was a Labrusca, and a grape called Herbamont, which is I don't remember the species. It's not a vinifera, but it's rather hard to grow. It's related to a grape called Lenoir or Black Spanish. It's a sister grape to that, Herbamont is. So, but it has no Labrusca character. This grape. So it favors Herbamont much more so than the Neosho parent. It is so renowned for ports and has been for 30 years, but it was a complete accident that it was made into, not an accident. It was a complete, it was made into a port, but it was made into what was supposed to be a white port that aged in barrels. And obviously, when you age something in barrels, you get more of a darker or a tawny color. And so as this white port made from 100% Muench in 87, I think, well, aged, there was 150 gallons or 3 barrels of it. And as it aged, it became more tawny. So it became a tawny port and was very well received. And so in 87, the 3 barrels were, 150 gallons. And then I think we skipped a year, and then maybe in 89, we made 6 barrels of that. And then it's grown exponentially from there. Mount Pleasant and Augusta / Montel have made it, ever since.
And Noboleis, will they ultimately make a port from it?
I think so, but I don't.
When I visited with Gabe the other day, that's what he said. And when we go up there, I think that's what you're going to see.
Dressel brought this grape up from cuttings, and I believe he found the cuttings at Grayson County College in Texas, north of Dallas. And he propagated the original cuttings in the 70s. And Scott Totebush was instrumental in keeping those vines alive. They were very hard to grow on the site where they grew on Shell Road, the original site. And they got a disease called crown gall, which is a bacteria that infected the roots. And we were constantly bringing up renewals. And so without Scott and Brian Campman's due diligence and just stick-to-itiveness in the winter and in the summer, bringing up renewals and then pruning them out in the winter, I'm sure that the original block of Muench would have vanished in the 70s without all their hard work.
This area belongs to you, and you belong to this area, and you do well here, and you do a lot of good things for people.
No, I really enjoy it. I've always loved the Augusta area. I was very fortunate to grow up here.
So who does most of the work on these vines?
Well, we have an expert in Fred Dressel who helps some more of the complicated things, but my wife Marianne and my daughter Margaret and I predominantly do most of what I will call the hand and field work in the vineyard. We mow it, we prune it, we thin it, we shoot position it, we cane thin it, we cultivate everything we can to get it to look the way it is, and one of our keys is hopefully we enjoy volume because that's how we're paid, but we certainly work hard to develop the highest quality grapes as we can as well. And the history of our vineyard has been good in that department. So.
And does the Muench mature at the same time as Vidal and what have you?
No, it would.
Hybrids.
My view of the Muench would be it would be in the middle to the last part of when we begin harvesting the reds. It might harvest with Chamberson. It might harvest after the Chamberson. It depends on the season, but certainly after the whites.
And do you bring in the grape picker for this or not?
We do. We pick our entire vineyard generally by machine, which I like because people argue about that, but I like it because we can have cool grapes on the vine at 7 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and by noon or 1 o'clock, we can be at the winery pressing grapes and juice and don't have to refrigerate them and let them sit. So we like the idea, and we've built the trellis system to hopefully complement and work well with the picker.
Okay, great.
But we do some fruit thinning and through the vineyard, usually prior to harvest, to get rid of what you might argue would be grapes you wouldn't want chosen.
Oh, I see.
Anything that came on late.
Came on late or whatever.
Green.
Little
Still
green.
too green. You pitch it.
They recycle.
So yeah, we fermented it and fortified it last fall, and then it went to these barrels in January.
Oh, and I think Fred explained that you actually cannot use the word port.
That's true. That is a protected term. Unless you're grandfathered in from making it years and years ago, you have to call it a fortified dessert wine or something along those lines.
Yum. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds very appetizing.
Sounds good to me.
Justin and I went through and tried these barrels earlier, and we thought they each had some interesting characteristics. And so what I'm going to do, if you guys don't mind, is give you a blend of all 3 barrels. That way you can get like the full effect.
Hey, you're the man.
Yeah. All right.
Your wine thief, is that glass or what is it?
It is.
Okay.
So as you can see, this thing is not super duper full. There we go. So it's going to take me a few rounds to fill this up because the thief can only reach in so far.
Oh, I get you.
So Tom, is that 100% Muench?
It is. This is all from your vineyards. And like I said, it was harvested.
So even the fortification, is that because you made brandy or something out of the, distilled it, in other words, did you distill this to get it stronger?
We add brandy, but we buy the brandy from a third party. We don't have the equipment or the license to do distilling ourselves. That's something that like we have vague dreams of doing, but it's wildly expensive. And we already waste enough money around here on other things that Chris and Angie let us pursue. So this is all, it was the same exact batch, fermented. It was all fermented together, fortified together. The only difference is the 3 barrels that we did. And the barrels themselves are theoretically more or less identical. But if you take the exact same wine and put it in the exact same barrels, you'll still always get differences. And so whenever we tasted through these, Justin and I agreed that they were all 3 pretty distinct.
Tom, what year were these grapes harvested?
Actually, we filled these barrels. I thought it was in January, but according to this, we filled them in late September. So these went into the barrels pretty quickly.
And is this first year that you're having this this fortified dessert wine?
It's the first year that we were able to use Mr. Sadler's.
First year for Mr. Sadler's. Did you have somebody else's?
Never the Muench, no.
Never the Muench.
We generally will make our ports out of Norton. So this is unique for us. We actually were excited about this because Fred had brought in some of his older Mount Pleasant ports that they had made in the 80s. And so when we got the opportunity to get some fruit from Bill, we were jumping at I'll get another one later. Jumping at the chance to make some port out of it ourselves.
Well, you're going to get some more this year.
We're hoping, yes, sir.
Gorgeous.
So
nice.
Very nice. So we've got about 9 more years left on this before it's ready for the public. Yeah, we're hoping to do a 10-year.
Guess what? We're going to drink.
Yeah.
On the 14th.
So yeah, it's going to be a very young one, but I was happy with the way it tasted earlier today.
Oh, okay. So we have your permission to.
You have our blessing.
It's fun to always be in a barrel cellar, but I think as you're looking at a young wine, I think everybody needs to understand in the wine industry, it's all about time and commitment to what you're trying to do. I know we drink wines very quickly after we buy them, but the real art of making wine is time and age and care. And it's amazing what goes into putting a quality product like that on the market. I mean, you talk about years and months, you don't talk about days and hours very often. So it's a very long-term process. And usually the results are pretty exciting when they work out. So I think that's just something people ought to probably know about wine and ports and things like that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Thank you.